They say only softies cry at movies. Today, I'm going to show you 8 dramas that prove this statement wrong and can emotionally destroy even the Terminator. These are serial torture devices for the soul that rip your heart out and crush your psyche. Warning, there might be some spoilers. Timestamps are included, so if something's on your watch list, feel free to skip ahead. A great warm-up example is Netflix's latest hit, When Life Gives You Tangerines. In short, it tells the story of Asun and Gwan-sik, 2 people from Jeju Island whose lives become intertwined in their youth and never fully untangled since. But don't let the beautiful shots and nostalgic music fool you. This is not a pretty love story. This is an emotional knockout in a tangerine orchard. It starts off gently. You smile, you feel touched, you think, how warm and lovely. And then bam! One decision, one glance. And suddenly you're sitting there with your soul in pieces wondering what the hell you just watched. Because this isn't your typical will they won't they. It's a story of love that doesn't scream, it simply endures. Through poverty, loneliness, death, disappointment, quiet, faithful, relentless. The show doesn't tell you when to cry, it just does its thing. It shows life as it is, with all its bittersweet flavor. And before you even realize it, it's already too late. You're caught. And it's not just about love, it's about the choices we didn't understand until we grew up. The thing we never said to our parents. That sudden weight on your chest when you think about your mom. When Life Gives You Tangerines doesn't move you, it tears you apart. And it does it in places you didn't even know could hurt. And that's just the first title. Honestly, any drama starring IU should come with a health warning. People with weak hearts are advised not to watch. The stats don't lie. Dramas with her in them break more hearts than smartphones hitting the floor. And Moon Lover's Scarlet Heart Ryeo is no exception to this tragic streak. Let's start with the basics. It's a historical, romantic, psychological, depressive drama that premiered in 2016 on SBS and was also streamed on some platforms. I'm not sure which exactly, but it's probably chilling somewhere on Viki or something like that. The original Korean title is
달의 연인 보보경심여
where
보보경심여
comes from the Chinese novel the drama is based on. At least that's what ChatGPT told me, so don't come for me. This drama was so freaking good that even after nearly a decade, people still watch it. And honestly, I don't blame them one bit. Why is it on this list? Because it's got everything your emotional stability does not need, but you'll still welcome it with open arms. At first you're like, ooh, time travel, princesses, handsome princes, a bit of humor. Sounds like a fairy tale. But then Wang So shows up, dressed in black, face scarred, carrying enough trauma to fill all 20 episodes, and suddenly you're smack in the middle of one of the most tragic, unfair, and soul-crushing love stories in K-drama history. Yeah, this drama hurts, guys. Just when you're finally hoping things will work out, that she stays, he finds her, that maybe, just maybe, life goes nope. The story goes nope. The writers? Big fat nope. And you're left abandoned, on the floor, picking up the pieces of your soul. But hey, I would never abandon you. So why not hit that subscribe button? I'm hitting to hit 4.5k by the end of June. Huge thanks in advance, you gorgeous human. Of course, besides the heartbreak, we also got stunning cinematography, a breathtaking soundtrack, out-of-this-world costumes, and a full lineup of princes, each with their own personal fandom. This is the story of a love that shouldn't have happened, but did. A love so strong it survived everything, except reality. Instead of a happy ending, we're left with longing, memories, and an emptiness nothing can ever fill. And there's not much more to say here, but I think what'll grab your attention even more is weak hero class. Especially since season 2 just dropped on April 25th, and the internet basically exploded with hype. But today we're focusing on the first season, because that's the one that hits like an emotional roundhouse kick you don't recover from anytime soon. Weak Hero Class 1 is one of those dramas that pretends to be about school, but turns out to be about life, and how it falls apart. The main character, Yeon Se-eun, looks like your typical nerd, but don't be fooled. This isn't a story about studying, it's a story about surviving in a world where no one's coming to save you. It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how much you can take before you break. Because Se-eun doesn't fight back, he analyzes, anticipates, strikes first. But even the smartest plan can't protect you from loneliness. And that's why this drama hurts. Not just because of the violence, though there's plenty, but because of everything hidden between the lines. When you start to believe he might finally find people who won't let him down, that's when it all crumbles. This drama shows you a world where the system fails, adults stay silent, and some wounds never heal. And speaking of wounds, how about the kind left by your first love in the 90s? 20th Century Girl is a film that dropped on Netflix in 2022, and at first glance, it looks like another sweet little story about school romance and 90s kids. Everything revolves around Bo-ra, who promised to keep an eye on the guy her best friend has a crush on. And she takes that mission seriously, getting closer to the target, and that's when the emotional trap snaps shut. Because suddenly, her own heart has different plans than this top secret operation she's carrying out for her friend. For the first hour, you think it's just a nostalgic trip back to youth. School uniforms, awkward dates, cute dialogue, and a few goofy expressions. But then, bam! Out of nowhere, the lighthearted teen drama turns into an emotional sledgehammer. No warning, no sad music, no red flags, just pain. One plot twist, and suddenly you're sitting there in silence, heart shattered, eyes blank. Because this isn't just a sweet little tale, it's a brutal reminder that not every story gets to finish. Some first loves stay with you forever, not as fairy tales you tell your kids, but as memories that never come back. And neither does the time I spent sobbing into my pillow after the credits rolled. Uncontrollably Fond. God, that title alone hits like a truck. At first glance, it looks like a classic, they meet again after years, now things will get romantic type of story. He's a celebrity, she's a documentary filmmaker, they argue a bit, there's tension, there's spark, the usual. And that's exactly the trap. Because this isn't some sweet little story, it's an emotional time bomb, and you feel the weight of it from the very first episodes. You know there won't be a happy ending. And yet, you keep watching. You get pulled into Shin Jun Young and No Il's story so deeply, you forget what's coming. You root for them, you laugh through tears, you scream at the unfairness of it all. And it's all thanks to the insane chemistry between Kim Woo-bin and Suzy, who bring these roles to life so convincingly you feel everything right along with them. This drama is a masterclass in emotional tension and heartbreak. Every happy moment is tinged with sadness because you know time is running out. Every I love you hits like a goodbye. And no, that's not a spoiler. It's the very thing that makes Uncontrollably Fond so addictive. It leaves you breathless with a lump in your throat. This drama hurts, and it hurts badly. But it's worth every tear. It's a story about what really matters, about holding on to the very end, and about love, the kind that survives everything. Even, well, you'll see. Uncontrollably Fond isn't a title, it's a psychological condition. And now it's time for 39, the drama that at first looks like a show about wine, expensive face creams, and chats about whether it's better to live with a man or without one. The title? 39, because the main characters are 39 years old. And honestly, during the first episode, you think it's gonna be a chill vibe with a hint of mature romance, like a Korean Sex in the City. And for a moment, it really is. But then, one of them gets a diagnosis. One that leaves no room for hope, no mercy, no chance of a miracle. A sentence you don't come back from. From that point on, it's no longer a show about careers or hairstyles. It's a story about how to prepare for someone's death while that person is still alive. About how to laugh when every see you tomorrow might be the last. This isn't a drama that rips your heart out with one blow. It's a drama that picks at it slowly. And just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. It's not a series that leaves you only with sadness. It's a series that leaves you with silence. The kind where you sit, stare at the final screen, and don't know what to say. But I do know what to say about Mr. Plankton. It's a drama that starts off like the best romantic comedy in years. The guy literally snatches the girl from the altar, they drive across half the country looking for his father, bickering, goofing around, annoying each other. Everything feels like Netflix finally decided to give us something light, funny, and heartwarming. You think it's going to be a story about two quirky people who find each other and end all this chaos with a beach wedding and a big happy family. And then, with each episode it gets quieter, heavier, more suffocating. Because it turns out this trip isn't just an adventure, it's a desperate escape from loneliness, emptiness, and a life where no one ever wanted you. A journey of two wounded souls who finally found each other and started to heal. And just when they begin to believe that maybe something good is waiting for them, maybe fate is finally smiling, that's exactly when it all falls apart. Mr. Plankton is on this list because it doesn't just break you, it tricks you. It disarms you with laughter, gives you hope, and then, without warning, smashes your heart to pieces. That, to me, is the definition of Ktrauma. It's a story about people who never had a home, and for a moment they think maybe they can build one together. And then you're left with only one question. Can anyone really count on a happy ending? And the answer is of course! Because Heiju found a 4-leaf clover, a miracle happened, everyone recovered, they all went back home together. Turns out Jo Jamie is pregnant and later they raised a bunch of adorable happy kids and anyone who says otherwise is lying. I turned the drama off the moment the clover appeared. And finally we have Mr. Sunshine. A drama that starts like a classic love story set against historical turmoil, and then turns into a gut-wrenching tale about Korea's colonization, snipers in petticoats, traumatized samurais, and a man who once was a slave and now returns as an American officer, just so everything can hurt all over again. At first, it feels like a beautiful, atmospheric period romance. There's elegance, mood, even some humor. We meet Eugene, who escaped from Korea as a child and now returns in a US military uniform. We meet Aishin, a noble woman who spends her free time sniping enemies. There's Dong Mei, a samurai with a dark past. Hina, the mysterious owner of the Glory Hotel, and Hui Seong, a spoiled rich guy who turns out to be one of the most loyal characters in the entire drama. And for a moment, you think it's going to be a grand love story set against the backdrop of history. And you're not entirely wrong, except you forget that the backdrop is literally the Japanese colonization of Korea. Betrayals begin, friends turn enemies, people die right before your eyes. Everyone is trying to save something, their country, their pride, the person they love, but history doesn't take prisoners. The show's tagline is guns, glory, sad endings. And honestly, nothing describes it better, because every character gets their moment of glory, but every one of them ends up with a shattered heart. And yours too. And that brings us to the end of this painful list. If you've watched all of these dramas, congrats! Your mental resilience is tougher than a turtle shell. And if you're just now adding them to your suffering watch list, I feel for you. But I'm also a little jealous that you get to experience them for the first time. Now it's your turn. The comment section is waiting. Which drama for this list broke you the most? Or is there one missing? The kind that left you sobbing uncontrollably for days? Drop it below. Let's build a list of K-dramas that'll cost us a mountain of tissues. And if you're in the mood for something a little less emotionally devastating, maybe a dose of healthy internet hatred, check out my latest video on the most hated K-dramas. I guarantee it'll stir up a lot of opinions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.